Hare Krishna, everybody. Please accept our respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of each and every one of you. And please, again and again, accept my visual obeisances, dear brothers and sisters, mothers and aunties, fathers and mothers. I prostrate myself onto the lotus feet of each and every one of you. So yes, welcome to the fourth day, the third day, sorry, of Madhurya Kadambini, the ocean, the cloud ocean of nectar. And I believe that each and every one of us, we've been swimming, we've been diving into the different glorious and wonderful pastimes. And also we've been having our hearts churned again and again and again and again and again to bring the freshness, the essence of everything out. And so without further ado, we are going to proceed with today's program. But before we dive into today's different wonderful activities that has been put out for each and every one of you, here is a quick housekeeping. This housekeeping is very, very important for everyone, so that each and every one of us can mainly, get the opportunity to truly participate in this online event, in this online sangha, in this online Shravanam sangha that is going on. And Srila Gurudev Visvanatha Cakravarti Thakura Swami Maharaj, by his mercy, he has made this possible. So please, here is a quick announcement before we go into our day activities. Hare Krishna. Yogini Mataji.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Hare Krishna, Gurudeva. Please accept my humble obeisances. We're so happy to have all of you here. So today, there is no, for those of you who are speaking in the English language, who are listening in English, there's no need to go into any channels because everything will be spoken in English. However, we are offering language interpretation into Portuguese. So I will now explain how the devotees can access the Portuguese channel in Portuguese. Hare Krishna, queridos devotos e devotas, reverências, bom dia. Se vocês quiserem ouvir a tradução simultânea, por favor, entrem, se vocês estiverem no desktop, entrem no globinho, que é um ícone que está no canto direito da tela. Cliquem nesse globo e aí vai aparecer os canais, e aí você pode apertar no canal português para ouvir, então, em português, e você pode clicar em silenciar o áudio original para apenas ouvir o canal selecionado, se assim desejar, senão não precisa. Se tiverem no celular, cliquem no ícone mais os 3 pontinhos e depois cliquem no globinho, que está escrito Language Interpretation, e aí vai abrir uma caixinha com canal português, e vocês cliquem no canal português, e assim vocês poderão ouvir a tradução simultânea. Muito obrigada. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. I hope everyone has a lovely program today.
Muito obrigado to you. Thank you very, very much for the wonderful explanation. And please, I beg each and every one of you to please take full advantage of this opportunity, because we're making this possible so that everyone will really benefit in this ocean of Madhurya Kadambini, in this ocean of nectar, that we all can participate and not miss out that has been said in the beginning of the class. To so many of you that are joining us for the first time, we heartily welcome you. And to so many of you that has been with us from the very beginning again, and we say thank you very much for being constant and for being consistent with us. In the beginning, Maharaj did made a very wonderful, comment. He said, when you come to meet a sadhu, don't go to a sadhu with your eyes, go to a sadhu with your ears. So we've come here, we've gathered together to hear and to dive into this ocean. So please take full advantage of this activities and this system that has been laid down for each and every one of us to benefit. So here is a quick announcement on today's schedules and breaking down today's activities. So just immediately from now, we are going to be having a lecture from His Holiness Bhaktidhira Damodara Swami Maharaj on the topic envy. Envy, a very, very important subject matter that everyone is battling about. So envy, what does it mean? How do we understand it now? Maharaj is going to be going deeper in this introspective, in this very, very profound topic that has been an ageless discussion from time immemorial. So Maharaj is going to be going deeper and he's going to be explaining it from Madhurya Kadambini. Just after that, there's going to be activity time. So don't worry, we're not going to bore you all with only lecture and lecture and lecture and lecture and lecture. You're we're not gonna bore you all with so much of that. There's gonna be activities, and just immediately after the activity time, there's gonna be a talk by His Grace Ekavira Prabhu, and immediately after the talk from His Grace Ekavira Prabhu, there is going to be a drama presentation. Drama presentation. I know whenever it concerns drama, a lot of us are elated. Like, we want to see what is the emotion that the people are going to display into this drama. So this is the activities we have for you for this morning section. But do not worry, there's so many more activities all outlined for you. So now I'm going to be inviting my god brother, His Grace Jagannath Prabhu, to please Galand Maharaj with a visual Galand. Jagannath Prabhu, the screen is all yours.
Hare Krishna, dear Srila Gurudev and all the devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Dear Srila Gurudev, please accept this Mahagarland from Shri Krishna Balaram.
Oh, Krishna Balaram ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Jai. Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai. So thank you very much, His Grace Jagannath Prabhu. To so many of you that I know, not to so many of you, a lot of us, you already know who Maharaj is. He doesn't need much introduction, but for my own purification and for my own purification and for the purification of everyone that is listening, Maharaj is the first Sanyas, West African Sanyas disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj. And Maharaj, fortunately for me, he is my own Gurudev, and I'm very, very much blessed. And I believe that fortunately for all of us that is here gathered today, is our father, is our mother, is our mentor, is our guide, is our light, and we are holding tightly onto his lotus feet. Maharaj, I'm holding tightly onto your lotus feet. Please don't leave me. And I believe that a lot of us in this room all have the same opinion of holding tightly onto your lotus feet. Maharaj, we humbly are very much grateful that you made time to always be with us and to always speak to us. We humbly invite you to please, the screen is all yours. Please, now you can please proceed, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Nama Om Vishnu Padya Krishna Prisai Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharana Jari Visesa Sanya Vaidi Pastacha Desatan. Namo Vishnu Padya Krishna Prisai Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Chirita Swami Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Sitanmane Sri Gaura Karuna Sakti Bhakti Chirita Chinamane Om Agyana Timrandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshulunmulitam Vena Taishmai Sri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya Mano Bhistam Sapitam Jena Bhutale Shayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swa Padantikam Bandiham Sri Gurun Sri Yuta Padakamalan Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Sa Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lolita Sri Visakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpatin Gopisa Gopika Kantara Dakanta Namasute Dr. Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Bandavanishwarin Prisavana Suti Devi Panamami Hari Priya Bon Chakal Pataru Vyascha Kripa Sandhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Worshipful obeisances to His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj, His Divine Grace, His Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Divine Grace, Srila Visvanatha Cakravarti Thakura Mahashaya, and all the devotees present. Now and also the future. We're very happy to be with everyone. we'll continue looking at the teachings of His Divine Grace, Srila Visvanatha Cakravarti Thakura, in one of his many books, Madhurya Kadambini. And we have been looking at different causes of distress. He gave us 5, plus one which Her Grace. But later Mataji discussed yesterday, very important one. I very much, of all the 5 distresses, I I prefer the other one, because the one yesterday, having defeatist mentality. So Mataji addressed that very beautifully yesterday. It was very nice. The devotee is feeling having the mentality of a failure cannot succeed. And the moment one feels that they have a lot of all kinds of things come to the mind. So we have looked at Abidya, we have looked at the Asmita, we have looked at Raga, and today we are looking at Dvesha, envy, the 4th cause of distress. We're looking at distress. So Visvanatha Cakravarti, he gave us what are the obstacles. He also gave us what is the solution to the problem. So we're repeating, Visvanatha Cakravarti Thakura has so magnanimously come into this world from his residence in Goloka Vrindavan. He came to help us, not to come and struggle like us. He just came to help us. He came to warn us of the many obstacles on the royal path of devotion, and most importantly, to teach us very meticulously how to progress step by step in falling madly back in love with our worshipable Lord Krishna. If he watch carefully, you will see that he is doing it step by step. He is systematically giving us, very carefully presenting what is the problem and also giving us what is the solution. So we can remain mad for sense gratification, or we can become fully transcendentally mad. Beloved, let us invite the Kadambini to shower Madhurya on our external and internal environment, extinguishing the blazing forest fire of material attractions and attachments once and for all. Understanding Dvesha, envy. When one becomes malicious upon seeing another's advancement of life, his state of mind is generally called envy. When one becomes malicious, I'm not happy that someone is being glorified. I'm not happy that someone has possessed something which I think it's supposed to be for me. I'm not happy because the glory that is being given to somebody is supposed to be given to me. So I'm not happy. That is called envy. In Nectar of Devotion, chapter 31. Enviousness means focusing on what is constantly happening to me, for me, by me, and about me. What is happening to me? What is for me? What is by me? And what is about me? Within this paradigm, you, the false ego. You, the false ego, not I, the real ego. We, the false ego, has very little significance. Only if you are bothering me in some way does the I pay attention. Enviousness means focusing on what is constantly happening to me, for me, by me, and about me. Within this paradigm, it has very little significance to me. Only if you are bothering me in some way does the I pay attention. If you are not bothering me, then you don't exist for me. It's envy. And if you're bothering me, what is that? It is also envy. Because you're bothering me, that is envy. If you're not bothering me, it is envy. If you're bothering me, it is envy. That is envy. Why should someone bother me? Why should someone bother me? And why should I feel bothered? Or why should I so bother somebody? It is envy. If there's no envy, nobody can bother me, and I cannot bother anyone. When there is envy, then I'm a botheration for someone. The envious express their envy of God by preaching atheistic science or Judaism philosophy, in which they ridicule the fact that everyone is an eternal servant of God. Envious persons express their bitter feeling towards their human beings by creating wars, terrorism, cruel government, and cheating business enterprises. Smell of water 11:5:15 purport. So there are many ways to express envy. Not just one way, there are many ways. One is envious when we deny the existence of God. This is due to envy. God does not exist due to envy. It is envy when we try to take the position of God. That is envy. And that we have been doing since time immemorial. Envious persons express their bitter feeling towards other human beings by creating wars, terrorism, cruel government, and cheating business enterprises. This envy. I don't want you to succeed. That is envy. I deserve this benediction. I should have this material position. I am much better than that person. This mindset of self-centeredness will draw envy. Ironically, the more people put their energy into thinking about themselves, the more they suffer. The more we think about ourselves and forgetting other people, the more we are putting ourselves into danger. It is dangerous for the self and dangerous for others. Because if I don't have conflict, I will not have any conflict with somebody. And if I have conflict, I'm going to have a conflicting situation with everybody. Wherever I am, I'm going to express that feeling to everybody. Because something which is existing in me. And we can only give what we have. The influence of envy. Envy interferes with our ability to see and hear truthfully, and distort our perceptions to such an extent that our behavior can become extremely damaging to others and to ourselves. It's a fact. If I'm envious of you, what will I hear from you? What will I hear from you? If I'm envious of you, I'm always expecting something bad to happen to you. Dangerous. And when I'm constantly thinking negative about you, I'm doing the same damage to myself. Not only the person I'm wishing bad, I'm also wishing myself. Avidya causes all these problems. Suniti advised her son, Dhruva Maharaj. Very powerful lesson. Very, very powerful lesson. Fourth canto. Do not wish anyone bad. Do not wish anyone bad, because whatever we wish others must surely come back to us. That is the law of nature. That is the law. We cannot change it. So we may think that I am wishing that person bad. I'm thinking I'm doing that person bad, but actually I am doing myself bad. Because if you hold someone down, you are there with the person. You are not up, you are down there with the person. You cannot hold someone down and you are up. It doesn't work like that. You must be there with the person. So both of us are down. Not that I'm up and you are down. So avidya, it is ignorance. Make someone think that I'm doing you bad. I'm wishing you bad. I'm projecting negativity onto you. And everything I send out must come back to me. So envy interferes with our ability to see and hear truthfully. Because I'm envious of you, so I will not hear whatever I will say. Because I'm already blocked. I have already blocked myself. The most amazing thing is that these things are very subtle. It's not a gross thing which we see. Therefore, we don't see it. It's a big obstacle. It causes distress. We will not hear truthfully. And it distorts our perceptions to such an extent that our behavior can become extremely damaging to others and to ourselves. Vidvesha nasta mataya. Vidvesha nasta mataya. As their envy increases, they lost their intelligence. Srimad Bhagavatam 6:14-43. 6:14-43. As our envy increased, we will lose our intelligence. Being extremely hard-hearted, see the sequence. The increase of envy destroy our intelligence. When intelligence is destroyed, we're going to act in our heart becomes so hard, and we'll be unable to tolerate the king's neglect. They finally administered the poison to the son. Being extremely hard-hearted and unable to tolerate the king's neglect, they finally administered poison to the son. It's envy. Envy. The Guru Dev will explain later. Envy is an attack. We all know when you attack somebody. Envy is an attack. You should not forget this. That envy is an attack. Envy is very dangerous, very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. Envy kills more destructively than coronavirus. That any disease is, any other diseases that we have in this material world, Envy destroys more than any kind of diseases we have in this world, not even cancer. Cancer or coronavirus will affect our body. Envy would affect our soul progress in Krishna consciousness. Freedom from envy. You ask how you can become free of envy. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna. Lord Chaitanya has said, the heart will become cleansed of all the dirty things accumulated in the heart. It is not that we have to endeavor separately to become rid of envy or any deficiency or impurity. In this age, the chanting of Hare Krishna is recommended as the only possible method to associate with Krishna. This is Bhaktivedanta Mano lecture given the 17th of July, 1973 by Srila Prabhupada. Chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is one of the ways to overcome envy, because by chanting, the heart will become very purified. But we can chant Hare Krishna mantra and still the envy remains. We can chant Hare Krishna and the envy still remains. We have had in a wonderful experience from pure devotees, Krishna Priya Thakurani and Rupa Kaviraj. Rupa Kaviraj is a Goswami. Rupa Kaviraj is a Goswami. He's on the platform of Bhava. He's on the platform of Bhava. Rupa Kaviraj Goswami is on the platform of Bhava. Bhava, just the next step, one is entering into prema. Just see how close one is. Yet, the envy still continue to this point. You know, the dangerous disease is very stubborn. Sometimes we have a disease which medicine cannot cure. The disease becomes stronger than the medicine. Envy is stronger than the medicine which you're using. Envy is a strong disease. So strong that even most of us even know that we have the envy, even though it is very, very prominent that everybody can see the level of our envy, but we are so envious that we don't realize that we are envious. Yes. Chanting Hare Krishna, one is associating with Krishna. Where were Kamsa? Kamsa was not associating with Krishna. Kamsa was 24 hours Krishna conscious. But he was killed by Krishna. Krishna doesn't kill devotees. Krishna killed only demons. How a person is 24 hours Krishna conscious, he is associating with Krishna. So Prabhupada said, in this age, the chanting of Hare Krishna is recommended as the only possible method to associate with Krishna. Kamsa was associating with Krishna, but he was not free from envy. He was not free from envy. Very envious of Krishna that he constantly, 24 hours, think how to kill Krishna. So this dangerous disease is there. So it's one of the ways to get rid. That means that we should take the chanting very seriously. And yesterday we were warned, we have been advised, we have been encouraged to be very, very alert. To be alert. That means what? vigilance. We should be vigilant to see where the envy is manifesting in my life so I can control it. His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj called devotees spiritual warriors. Spiritual warriors means what? We are on the process of controlling these distresses. So we're warriors, so we can help others become also controlled. Yes. Spiritual technologies to be freed from envy. The most important thing about the spiritual world is that there is no envy among the devotees there. Bhagavatam 3, 15, 19 purport. In the spiritual world, there is no envy. Envy does not exist in the spiritual world. Why? Because in the spiritual world is 100% different from the material world. 100% different. Is everything that goes on here is 100% absent there. Envy does not exist there. What exists there is only lovely dealings. It's only lovely dealings. Only lovely dealings that is there. Everybody live for each other. Hare Krishna. So His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj is doing it. He is doing it. We should introspect from time to time. We already mentioned that we should be alert. What of the thing he mentioned yesterday? We should be alert. You should be alert. You should be careful. You should be cautious. You should be vigilant. So we should introspect. Introspection is the life of a spiritual warrior, always conscious of the enemy. So we can be ready to fight, to conquer. Introspect from time to time. Srila Visvanatha Cakravarti Thakura tries to help us understand how the enemy looks and how it manifests so that we can identify it and eliminate the cause of distress. If these causes of distress are not eliminated, we will feel more and more suffering. We all need to look at ourselves from time to time and think, am I actually happy in devotional service? We all need to look at ourselves from time to time and think, am I actually happy in devotional service? Am I excited? Am I anticipating greater and greater chances to unfold on all different levels? Or do we look at ourselves and think, I feel depressed, sad, angry, envious, jealous, and faithless? We're nicely entertained yesterday by Her Grace, Rogelina Mataji. She was mentioning these things. She gave us an assignment yesterday to see what is the level of our agreement with ourselves. What is the relationship with ourselves? What relationship do we have with ourselves? What relationship do I have with myself? What relationship? I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about myself. And we should look at it like that individually. What relationship do I have with myself? Am I happy? Am I happy with myself? It is very, very important. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura put it in this way. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura said we should put on the light in the room of our consciousness. We should put on the light. That means introspection. Putting on the light means introspection. We should look inside ourselves. We should check. Put on the light. We'll be able to see what needs to be clean in the room. If we don't put on the light, we will not see anything in darkness. And most of us are doing like this, because it's one of the obstacles, one of the limbs or the aspect of obstacle hanging on avidya, ignorance, that we don't know who we are and we don't know what we're trying to do. Don't tell me that devotees are very intelligent. Yes, that is true. Devotees are very intelligent, but that is devotee. That is devotee. They're very intelligent. If we're intelligent, then we should not have the gloomy situation we are having in Krishna consciousness. Why we're not happy? It's because of envy. When we are very envious, we are constantly projecting envy. We will not be able to put on, we have intelligence to put on the light in the room of our consciousness and be able to see what needs to be rectified. So the Gurudev said, we all need to look at ourselves from time to time, put on the room in the light, put on the light in the room of our consciousness. We should put on the light in the room of our consciousness. If we do that, we'll be able to see how much envy that is there, how much greed that is there, how much ignorance that is there. We'll see how much attachment, material attachment I have, not spiritual attachment. We want to see the material attachment that we have. Well, we will also see the amount of false ego which is there. We will see only when we put on the light in the room of our consciousness. Introspection from time to time. So we will see. Then we'll be able to ask ourselves. This requires being alone in a quiet time. Everyone should have a time that we have 20 minutes, 30 minutes alone and look into ourselves. Not chanting, not reading, not talking, not hearing. Just look inside. Just look into ourselves. All realized souls do this. All realized souls, they follow this principle. Time for introspection. We need to look inside. And then we ask ourselves, am I actually happy in devotional service? Am I happy? Am I excited? It's a wonderful opportunity, just a wonderful process I've been given to us. Am I happy? Am I appreciative of what has been given to me? Am I anticipating greater and greater chances to unfold on all different levels? Or do we look at ourselves and think, I feel depressed, I'm not happy? Babu, how many rounds? Don't ask me, I'm not happy. Don't ask me, why you asking me? But we didn't see you for program for 2 weeks now. We don't see, but don't bother me. Don't ask me. Why are you asking me about this thing? If you see me program, you don't see me to program. What's the problem? I'm not happy. What is making you not happy? Is it not somebody making you not happy? It is you who is making yourself not happy. Envy is making us not to be happy. The distress, the distress which we maintain in our lives makes us unhappy, not that somebody else is making us unhappy. Nobody can make you unhappy. Nobody can make you unhappy. Nobody can make you sad. Nobody can make you sad. See what is happening. Nobody can make you sad. Nobody can make you angry. If you don't have anger, nobody can make you angry. If you don't have lust, nobody can fall you down. Nobody can make you lusty. If you don't have lust, if there's no lust, nobody can make you lusty. If there's no envy, nobody can make you envious. If there's no fear, nobody can frighten you. Nobody can frighten you. That I'm frightened means there is fear in me. Then one can fuel it. If you light the fire and put inside water, it will not light. The fire will go automatically. Why? There is no fire element in the water. When you put it into the dry grass, immediately to go because the fire is already there. We have to decide if we are going to weed out these problems, or if we are just going to add more of the same negativity and create the difficulty in the first place. This is our choice. Madhurya Kadambini, second shower. Srila is opening our eyes to see. Open the eyes so we can see. We can see. How do we do that? How do we do that? How do we add? How do we add to the weed which is already there causing the distress? Becoming angry with someone who is not concerned with all this. We are adding to the problem. So we should learn how to avoid envious association. Do sangha, asat sangha. Should be tiagat, should be given up. Avoid envious association. One who is envious of the success of a Vaishnava is certainly not a Vaishnava himself, but is an ordinary mundane man. An envious person is not a Vaishnava. An envious person is an ordinary person. It's an ordinary person. Envious person is an ordinary person. An actual Vaishnava is very pleased to accept another Vaishnava who is bestowing the Lord's mercy. A mundane person in the dress of a Vaishnava should not be respected but rejected. This is enjoined in the Shastra. Upeksha. Upeksha. The word upeksha means neglect, reject, avoid, give up. Upeksha. One should neglect an envious person. There are many jealous people in the dress of Vaishnavas in this Krishna consciousness movement, and they should be completely rejected or neglected. There's so many envious people, so many envious people in the Krishna consciousness movement. In ISKCON, so many. But we're chanting Hare Krishna. That's the point that we're trying to make to understand. We are chanting Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada said by chanting Hare Krishna, we are associating with Krishna. So we are chanting Hare Krishna, we are associating with Krishna. Why the envy is still there that there are many members of the movement are envious. Who are many? Prabhupada used the word. There are many. He didn't say some. He just said a few. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are many jealous people in the dress of Vaishnavas in this Krishna consciousness movement, and they should be completely neglected. That means this. We should not give them importance. We should not give them importance. We should not accept them as pure devotees, good devotees. We should not give them importance. We should not respect them as a devotee. We should just understand they are ordinary people. They're ordinary people, and they should be avoided as much as possible. Should be avoided. Because if we associate with envious people, you are not going to make progress. Srila Kavikarnapura Goswami. Srila Kavikarnapura Goswami. He said that people who are envious and fault finders, envious and fault, they all look for fault. Their presence make everyone unhappy. They give distress to anyone, any environment they are. They must give anxiety. Ramachanda Puri. Ramachanda Puri. Will give anxiety to his spiritual master. Instead of doing service, he's giving anxiety to the spiritual master. What is the result? He's giving anxiety, and himself will get anxiety. The anxiety he got was the spiritual master did not bless him, but he cursed him. He became an ordinary person, and his duty is to go everywhere and find fault. It's envy. There are ants everywhere. There are ants all over the universe. Anywhere you go, there are ants. But because one is envious, hey, Swami, see ant. Swami, you, sweet, Swami, sweet. So it's only Swami room that has ants. They no ant other places. What is the result of other ant other places? What is the result of the ant other places? The envy blind us from seeing the reality. So we don't see it. We only see this the ant in the Swami's room. Sweet, Mr. Sweet. I know what is wrong with sweet. Is Krishna bitter? Is Krishna bitter or sweet? The first thing which is over to Krishna, the first thing Krishna take in the morning, the Supreme Person, the first thing he take is sweet. So devotees should be sweet like their master. Oh, the food which is meant for 10 people, one person has eaten it. So if you stay here, there'll be earthquake in this, there'll be famine in this village. Envy. Very, very destructive. Very destructive. Madhyamadicaries are compassionate towards the innocent, and therefore they reach out to them to assist them in connecting with God. However, they avoid the envious because they realize the importance of association and influence. The importance of association and influence. Association has influence. Every association has influence. Positively or negatively. There's nothing like neutral. Bad association is offensive and goes against their mood of glorifying and serving Krishna. Good association facilitate our glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bad association help us not to glorify Lord Krishna because we are ourselves Krishna. Says Madhyama Adhikaris are disturbed when they see others hurting themselves by shunning the Lord. They avoid association with such persons. Yes, Madhyama Adhikari, they have full conviction that Krishna is the Supreme Personality, and they worship him in that way. You cannot take it away from them. They appreciate the devotees who are also worshiping Krishna very nice. They appreciate and have good association with them. They also appreciate the innocent, those who need the help. They will go to any extent to help them to come up, but they will carefully avoid the envious people. They will carefully avoid them because it's very, very dangerous. Lord Krishna's own son was personally trained by Krishna. Krishna trained his own son nicely, but because of bad association with the King Vena, he became a demon. And Krishna did not spare him. Krishna himself, he killed his own son. Learn to appreciate His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj. He's leading everyone in sweet Kirtan. Sweet Kirtan. See his face. Look at his face. Free from envy. So the face is very sweet. And then when you look at his face, also will feel it. You will feel this. Just look at it. Just look at the face, you feel it, you feel what is inside. This is not just philosophy. Look at his face, you feel what is inside. You feel what is inside. Without speaking, you don't have to speak. You can feel what is inside. Learn to appreciate. How do we appreciate others? Try to support everyone in their Christian consciousness. Enviousness means attacking another's existence. Therefore, freedom from envy means doing the opposite. Find ways to appreciate the presence of those around you, to serve them and to honor them. It is not necessary to be physically near another in order to celebrate them. In fact, sometimes we may discover our enviousness is so strong that it's unhealthy to have much direct association with the person we envy, because we may not be able to control ourselves. But as we work on those feelings at a distance, serving humbly, we will find alleviation. Yes. If you will love somebody and we want to help the person, like an envious person, it is not necessary to be with the person. The person should be avoided. In this way, we are helping the envious person, because envious person will not like to see you. Oh, he has gotten another dress again. Oh, I thought he's going to come naked to come and beg me. How can I tolerate this? Oh, a new dress again. Hey, he just bought another car. Can you imagine that? Oh, I'm still struggling to buy cooking gas. I'm struggling just to buy cooking gas. Has become very expensive. I'm just struggling to just buy. He just bought a car again. How? I thought you are dead by now. He's not dead. He's even buying another car. And I'm expecting that he should be dead by now. When you're envious of a person, when you hear the person is coming, what do you think? Oh, the person is going to have a accident on the way. Yeah, we're expecting only bad, but the person is already sick. I can ask, oh, how is Prabhu doing? In my mind, I'm expecting, I'm going to hear, oh, he's in the hospital. He's about to die. He has a very terrible cancer. The doctor had diagnosed him that he has only 2 days. Oh, I will celebrate it in my mind. I'm expecting that. When we're envious of a person. So it's an attack. We are attacking the existence of another person. The Gurudev gave an example. He gave many examples about envy is an attack. Many examples he gave. We're envious of somebody. We're envious of somebody. We don't want to hear anything good about the person. We want to hear the person he has lost his job. The children have been sent out to school. He has cancer, 2 days only remain for him. Yeah. Or he has been cheated of all his money. He has a terrible accident. All the car he bought yesterday is now destroyed. Yeah, this is the thing. This is the news you want to hear. So we are attacking. We are really attacking. We will engage in service. We have to increasingly appreciate that spiritual life is about spiritual community. We will engage in services in the spiritual environment that focus on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, it is not that we won't just wait for Krishna to appear while considering everything else to be useless and everyone else to be valueless. For instance, sometimes we disregard everyone except our own guru, or we have no concern for anyone except our favorite sannyasi. We have no time to hear anyone else's classes and have no desire to serve any other devotees. This is complete nonsense because this mode has nothing to do with the atmosphere of the spiritual world, which is about intense appreciation. Right? By contact consciousness, everyone is envious. If his neighbor, if his brother, if his friend becomes more prosperous than himself, he becomes envious. This is material nature. Similarly, in our Christian consciousness movement, if we become envious, oh my God, brother, oh, he has become so popular. He is making so much progress. So put some impediment towards his progressive path. This is also material. The Vaikuntha consciousness is that if your neighbor, if your brother is prosperous or progressive, then one should think, oh, he is so nice that he has served God so nicely. God is so pleased upon him that he is making so nice progress. That is Vaikuntha consciousness. Srimad Bhagavatam lecture, 18th August 1971 in London by Srila Prabhupada. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat. And Vrindavan Thakura gave a beautiful description of, yesterday we were talking about Pundari Vidyanidhi. Pundari Vidyanidhi has, it's another story about Pundari Vidyanidhi. He has a friend. Vrindavan Thakura told us that they are just like brothers. They are just like brothers. They are always together. They are always together and they appreciate. That is Swarup Damodara Goswami. Pundari Vidyanidhi and Swarup Damodara Goswami, they are inseparable friends. So when Lord Jagannath and Lord Balaram slapped and punched Pundari Vidyanidhi for criticizing Lord Jagannath's servant, the next morning when they met, Swarup Damodara Goswami said, hey, my friend, what happened to your jaw? What happened to your jaw? You're sick. He said, that is what I have come to tell you. Last night, Lord Jagannath and Baladev, they came to me. They slapped, they did not stop. They could not stop. They keep slapping me. Just see. Even the ring on their fingers have marked my chin. See, you can see. That is the glory of Pundari Vidyanidhi. The network. Damodar became very happy. My brother, so fortunate. I don't have this. I never had. Krishna came. Krishna never even do. He never did that. My brother, that you got this mercy from Lord Jagannath. Let us cry. Let us beg. Let us pray. Cry, beg, pray, so that what will happen? Paigunya kita kalita, paisunya branati tida, dainyar navi ima no ham chaitanya vaidam asraye. I am infected by the germs of material activity, and I'm suffering from the boils of envy. Therefore, falling in an ocean of humility, I take shelter of the great physician, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Chaitanya Adi, Antya 5:1. Yes. Hare Krishna. My dear Lord Nityananda, I have a most chronic disease. It is called envy and is very contagious. People unknowingly look at me and think I'm a picture of good health. Little do they know how sick I really am and how dangerous my association with them could be. How is it that you have shown your mercy to others by placing them in ignorance, total bliss? But my limited knowledge, I desperately appeal to you, my dear Lord, and ask, why am I so unfortunate and what must I do? We should cry, beg, and pray. In Kali Yuga, there is special mercy. Nityananda knows that the people are unqualified and have so many attractions. If we can just somehow take shelter of the holy name and try to push the mind out of the way during chanting, we will receive additional credit to move through these kinds of obstacles. If we just try to associate with those who are more fixed and who have the test, we will also gradually get test by association. That is the way to do it. As a simple way to go about it. So in summary, when one becomes malicious upon seeing another's advancement of life, his state of mind is generally called envy. The mindset of self-centeredness is what draws envy. Envy is extremely damaging to others and to ourselves. One loses his intelligence due to envy. Simply by offenseless chanting, one can be free from envy. The spiritual technology is to be free from envy. One should introspect from time to time. We should do this. We should introspect from time to time. We must check. We should not just go on and on and on like that. We should stop and check and see what is going on with us. No serious person, no serious businessman or business lady will continue to do business with checking the profit and again the loss and the profit. We'll check and see. So every company at the end of the year, they do stock taking to check what has been done. What was the loss and what was the gain? Every company does that. Only Hare Krishna devotee does not do this. So Visvanatha Cakravarti Thakura, Gurudev is saying we should do this. Check-up, introspection. One should avoid envious association. Do upeksha, neglect envious people. Learn to appreciate devotees whenever, wherever, whenever we can. And we should cry, we should beg, and we should always pray. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
So, there's some questions or some comments.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very, very much for the wonderful, 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 insightful class. We're very, very grateful. And I believe a lot of us have learned a lot of lessons. I've learned a lot. I have learned a lot. And here is a quick announcement just before we go into the question and answers. I'm seeing a lot of visual hands already up. And also for you guys on following us on Facebook and YouTube, you can just type in your question in the comment section and we're going to read them out loud here. to Maharaj on the Zoom app. So please, if you have any queries, there is our people there on the Zoom platform. Ask your servant. Please ask them for whatever queries you have. Please just ask your servant. And also to order for Maharaj book, Spiritual Connection, and the reflection on Madhurya Kadambini by His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj. Just make all your inquiries in the Zoom chat. Ask your servant. They are all there to attend to your questions. So Maharaj, there are countless questions that are here. I hope that you will have enough time to be able to attend to all these questions for us. So first, we're going to ask His Grace Jayananda Prabhu. He raised his hand up to ask his question. Jayananda Prabhu.
Yes. Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Accept my humble obeisances for the discovery of this feet. Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj, for the wonderful lecture that you have just given. So coming to one aspect that you mentioned in getting rid of envy, you mentioned that we should introspect from time to time. So if you could elaborate a bit more about the technology that we can adopt to carry out this introspection, Guru Maharaj.
All right. Introspection means we should look inside. I give examples. Back to Thakura, we should look inside ourselves. If we look carefully, inside, we will see how much envy is there in our consciousness. We'll see. One of the ways to do that, you're asking for many technologies how to control it. In the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is also recommended that we should hear the activities of Lord Ramachandra. Why is that? We should hear about the activities of Ramachandra, how he related with his brothers. How did he relate with his brother? With envy? No. He related with them cordially, friendly, fatherly. So we should hear these things. If we hear them from the activities of the Supreme Lord, we will get his mercy, his strength. We'll also have insight. We'll get insight. We'll have a true picture, true understanding. What is envy? The danger of envy. Danger. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Kaviraj Goswami said, envious people are not destroyed by Brahmastra weapon, by Sudarshan Chakra, by Pashupati weapon of Lord Shiva. Envious people are not destroyed by earthquakes, by tornadoes or famine or cancer. Envious people are not destroyed by all these things. Envious people are destroyed by the fire of their own envy. The fire of our own envy that destroys us. Krishna Kaviraj Goswami. So when we hear things like this, it will ring a bell in our heart. And yesterday we did mention, we will not hear this if we don't have association with sadhus. There's ways we can cure the envy. And Mahabharata gave a perfect example of the statement Krishna Kaviraj Goswami said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that envious people are destroyed by the fire of their own envy. Perfect example we see is Maharaj Indra, Indra's spiritual master Brihaspati. Brihaspati was invited for a function, he refused to not attend. I'm just cutting it short. It's Mahabharata. But later on, when he got to discover the nature of this wonderful occasion, he became interested. But the organizer told him, the king organizer said, I'm sorry, I cannot make you a chief priest again because I came to you in the first place. You said no. I begged. He said, no, I have to go and beg your Gino brother. So your Gino brother referred me back to you. I said, I'm coming from you. And finally he accepted. Now Lord Vishnu is coming, Brahma is coming, Shiva is attending, but all the devils are coming. It's only you who is not coming. So yesterday said that Brihaspati became dry by the fire of the envy that my own Gino brother is going to officiate this powerful Jagya. He became dry to the size of a stick of a broom. That is how dangerous envy is. An envious person, you would never be happy, never be happy, because the fire is burning. So will not be satisfied with anything, nothing. Therefore, we should hear the activities of Lord Machanda, how he deal with his citizens, how he deal with his brothers, how he deal with his superiors, with his genius, with every living entity. That will help us to get the strength, to get his blessing. We should chant the holy name attentively, not just on our own, with devotees who have taste for the name. We should chant with them. And we should be very, very prayerful. We should pray, we should beg, and we should cry, please help me to get out of this terrible disease. Does it make sense?
Yes, thank you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you again.
All right. Thank you very much. Before we go on with the questions, here is a quick urge. I'm kindly urging everyone. I know that we all have questions to ask, and sometimes some of us will feel somehow shy to ask the question, like, oh, how do I phrase the question, or how is it going to sound? You don't need to worry about any of that. You just need to ask, because by asking your question, it might be of great help to another person. So please do not feel shy in asking your question. So we have His Grace Pranahari Prabhu. Your visual hand is up. Please ask your question, but please make it quite quick so that we can attend to other questions.
Yes. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much for giving me a chance. Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you again for your blessings. Maharaj, just quickly, because what I feel that this envious is, as you mentioned, is the medicine can't work. So what I feel that, it's very getting complicated in my life, that how to tackle it. So is that I leave it to Krishna and I do my job of chanting and just leave it to Krishna. He is the one who cures. So what should I do?
Serve the person we envy. It's not easy to do that. It's not easy to do that. I'm really very envious of you. I don't want that good. I would like to serve you. But if we do it, we'll get purified. because when we do something that we're not comfortable with, in good mood, you will get purification. That becomes austerity. So it's a very good, powerful cure. Serve the person we envy. And if you notice that somebody is envious of you, so you have a car, the person is feeling envious of, just ask the person, just take the person on a ride. Take that person with their car on a ride. His envy will go down for you. Just take the person on a ride. You can go to supermarket and just get in some packet juice or something, only a little thing. The person envy will go down. But don't ride the car in his presence all the time. That will increase the envy. We take the car to him, we should take him somewhere. I feel very happy because he have enjoyed it with you, so the envy will come down. And if I'm the one who is envious of you, serve that person nicely, you get purified from it. We should pray, we should cry, and we should beg for mercy. Not just leave it for Krishna. Well, Krishna, you take over. No, we have to do something before Krishna will come in. Yesterday, Haridev Prabhu was teaching us the mercy and the effort. Yes. Mercy must be there first. Then the effort comes. One of them is not complete. Both must go together. Effort. And the mercy comes in. So make effort, then Krishna comes in and helps us. Right?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Sukhdev Prabhu, may I ask one more question if you allow?
Please, Prabhu, go ahead. We have quite a lot of questions today.
Okay, so I'll please. Okay, no problem. I'll ask later on when we have the time. I'll be waiting for that.
Just as since I'm here now, just as you say, we can move forward.
Okay. Maharaj, see, is that good to we actually disclose to a senior devotee that we are envious so that he can help us?
Yes, that's a good way. That's one of the ways. Who can ask, how do I deal with my envy? I notice, I know that I'm very, very envious. I can't tolerate when a brother or sister is being appreciated more than me. It's difficult for me to handle. What advice can you give to me? Yes, so it's one of the good ways to do that. So we should do it, and Krishna will really help us. For us to have the fortune to do that is very, very important, very good. We'll get a lot of purification from it. Yeah, we should do it. All right, next.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you for time. Thank you, Sukhdeva Goswami Prabhu, for your time.
Thank you very much, Prana Hari Prabhu, for the wonderful question. So we have His Grace Matsya Prabhu. His visual hand is up. Matsya Prabhu, please, the screen is yours to ask your question.
Hare Krishna Gurudev, thank you for the wonderful class. Actually, my question relates to Prana Hari Prabhu's last question. So if we are in a position where we have to take care of some devotees or help them, how can we address the issue of envy if we see they are being envious? Because it's so shameful to feel envy, and it's envy is so ingrained. And you mentioned that many devotees, they don't realize they are envious because it's so ingrained. So how can we address the issue and show the person in a healthy way that they are being envious without making them to feel bad or feel really low about themselves? That's my question.
Yes, so we can, if you are dealing with devotees and this is observed, so the best way to do it is not to tell the Prabhu, I know you are very, very envious. The person will be angry. But so the best way to do that, we can, one of the discussions I'm going to have with it, so we can select some verses from Gita, Bhagavatam, Chitta Samrita. So this weekend, we are going to look at envy. So you can get some few verses and discuss that among the devotees. If the person in worship will understand, oh, this is me, and I have to make adjustment if I want to make advancement. So this is the way we can help the person to understand that we need to make adjustment to be free from envy. All right, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Maharaj, there is a question direct from our YouTube channel, and the question goes like this: says, we see acharyas praying with humility, but it confuses me since that seem like self-pity, which we are told to avoid, as in yesterday's section. So how do we clearly understand the distinction?
Yes, we see most of our acharyas, like Bhaktivinoda Thakura, Narottam Das Thakura, they're confessional in their prayers. So one will feel this is self-pity, but actually it is not self-pity. This is one of the ways, this is one of the technologies we need to put in place to overcome inattentiveness and chanting. Confession. You want to distraction. You want this to overcome distraction, to control inattentive chanting. This is one of the technologies we have to practice to openly confess. The pure devotee prayers is not for them. The pure devotee prayer is for us. They have to teach us how to do it by their own example. So it is not for them. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is not praying for himself. Not all of them, they're not praying for themselves. They are actually praying for us. They are teaching us how to pray. So it is for us. So we should not say, one day somebody said, so Prabhupada is praying seriously. After he installed the deity, for a few days later, he was praying. And a devotee, a disciple come behind and saw Prabhupada praying. So she was behind the maze. At the end, when Prabhupada finished and told me, so I said, you are a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. You have connection with Krishna. So what is the need for you to pray? What is the need for you to pray? And you don't have to pray because you're already there. So what is the need to pray? We should pray because you are not there. But you are there. So what is the need? It doesn't require, you don't need to pray again. Prabhupada said, no, I'm praying so that I don't fall down. The devotee said, oh, Prabhupada, I cannot fall down. He said, yes, because I'm praying. Hare Krishna. Yes. So they say that a mother-in-law teaches the daughter-in-law by teaching her daughter. She's talking to her daughter, so the daughter-in-law is hearing. That's the way you will train the daughter-in-law. So our children are praying. That is the way they are teaching us how to pray. Suppose they don't teach us how to pray. How will we know how to pray? We're simply going to be harassing Krishna all through, not the prayer. Like Christians, they don't pray. They simply harass Krishna. Give me this, give me this, give me this, give me this. That is not prayer. Prayer is actually glorification. You are expressing your own feeling to Krishna and begging for him to help us. That is prayer. So we should not think that the chariots are also influenced by self-pity. They are not. Even though it seems that they are lamenting, Swami is praying, oh, I am not born in a Brahmana family. I don't have the bhakti. I don't have the culture that is suitable for one to have the mercy of Krishna. Therefore, my situation is so useless that I'm just hoping against hope because there is nothing so wonderful about me. That is not self-pity. They're actually teaching us how to pray. In Brihad Bhagavatamrita, a king was telling Narada Muni, see, Narada, my dear Narada, I'm not a devotee as you think, because for me, I'm not expecting any blessing from Krishna. Because I have not done anything that I'll be expecting a blessing from Krishna. There's nothing, no devotion, there is nothing. I have not done anything that I'll be expecting that something is coming. If we are not working, you're not expecting that at the end of the month, I'm going to get salary. You're not working. How will you get salary? You're not working. If I'm working, then I know, okay, I'm going to get some salary at the end of the month. So the king said, my dear Narada, I'm not expecting any blessing from Krishna because there's nothing, there's nothing I've done to warrant Krishna. I'm expecting, okay, because I have done this, Krishna is going to bless me. That doesn't exist in my life. So this is not self-pity. It is their actual true, pure humility they are expressing, and they are teaching us how to pray. The mentality we should maintain in relating with Krishna, so we can have everything very, very clear. It's a good question. All right.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. So we have other questions from Hari Lila Dasi. She says, Dandvat Pranam Srila Gurudev. My question is about association. I pray for association of like-minded devotees, but sometimes I become too judgmental about devotees. Is this an envious nature?
Yes, it is envious nature. We should not be judgmental. And if we are praying for association of serious devotees, we pray serious devotees association. We pray, Krishna will surely give us a good association. And instead of us to appreciate, we talk about appreciation. Lack of appreciation is due to envy. So we just discuss that. So we should appreciate devotee. That means it is a means to get us free from envy and or for those already free from envy. So appreciation. So we should practice that instead of being appreciated. And if we see that some devotees don't have the quality which is encouraging our Krishna consciousness, the best thing is to keep distance, not to be too close and find fault and put ourselves into problem. All right.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. There's another question that says that, is envy a mental illness? Sometimes we have seen that certain people being mentally ill believe and think that someone or some people are envious of them.
Not necessarily a mental illness. It's not necessarily a mental illness. It is something different. Yeah, if someone is mentally derailed, about different. If a person whose consciousness is already clouded, all of us conditions, our consciousness is clouded. So we have different ways to look at different things. Every condition we have a problem of looking at things different. We don't see things the same. These are different. Maybe a person mentally disturbed, but the person is consciously disturbed, diseased. Therefore, we don't appreciate and we don't glorify progress. We'll only create a distraction. That is envy. All right. Are we not going against our time now? Some people.
No, Maharaj, according to the schedule that we have here, it seems like today there's a lot of people that are asking more questions because the 2 days they've not been, they have not come out to ask questions. So today the topic really hit on the head and hit the nail. So they're asking a lot of questions, Gurudev. If you have time, Gurudev.
Okay. So go ahead.
All right.
Yes,
so there is
we're ready. We are here for it.
Okay, Gurudev. There is another question from Nisha Mataji. And Nisha Mataji is asking, is expectation from any person and our surrounding does it arise out of envy? If not, where does expectation arise from?
Expectation is not coming from envy per se. It's not coming from envy. It is it is the nature of the soul to expect something wonderful. It's the nature of the soul to expect that as you have a good greeting from friends, yes, as you expect health, yes, as you expect the soul. I am not satisfied with what I have. And whenever I see something, I always think in terms of me. This should be for me. Actually, what I have is supposed to be for me, but why is it not with me? Therefore, I'm envious of you. I'm thinking, you should give it to me. Not you should not have it, I should have it. That is envy. To expect that we should care for you, should relate. It is not necessarily envy. Envy is different. Expectation comes from the soul because that is the nature of the soul to be appreciated. We need to have a meaning to our lives, and we're expecting that somebody should give us that. Actually, expectation is selfishness for conditionality, selfishness. Expectation is selfishness. That is why to become Krishna conscious, we are trained to be free from expectations. To be free. Bhakti, devotional service is just to please Krishna only, not expecting anything from him. We don't expect anything. This is spiritual life. Expecting something means that selfish, I'm greedy, and eventually to also into envy, because if I don't get what I'm expecting, I'll be angry. I'll be angry. Why you don't give it to me? Which is everybody should accept me as the supreme. And when I didn't get it, I'm angry. It's all contaminations. So we should be free from expectations and simply do our part. It is then like in full, complete. Right? It's around now.
Hare Krishna, everybody. It seems like Maharaj's network connection is a bit not so much, not so strong at the moment. But moving on with, there's so many questions that is going on, and I think a lot of devotees are really fired up today, and they're like asking questions. But do not worry, your questions all will be attended to in due course of time. Maybe not in this morning section, but maybe in our evening section. All your questions will be attended to. So right now we are just going to have to move on to the other activity of the day, because of so as to be able to keep up with time, and also so as to be able to move on with the program as pre-planned and as already scheduled. So to those of you that your questions might not be, we're not able to read out your question, I humbly tender my obeisances to you. Please forgive me. It's just that we're trying to meet up with time. And to some of you that you asked your question, I'm grateful to you all, because from your question we get to understand something that is even more deeper and more interesting and more enlightening. So thank you all very much. So we're moving on to our next item on today, and that is activity. Okay, so we have an activity for you all. We have an activity for you all. Now, this activity is an activity of sharing, experience, sharing experience. You see, they say the more you share, the more you get. So we should not be too greedy to keep the mercy for ourselves. But where they say we should be greedy in Krishna consciousness to get the mercy of Krishna. Yes, but also what makes us a devotee is us sharing that mercy, sharing that our experience, because just talking about your experience can be a soothing balm into the life of another devotee, or just speaking about whatever problem you've passed through, on how you were able to pass through it, how you were able to rise above it. Because each and every one of us, we have envy. Each and every one of us, we have ego. Each and every one of us, we have pride. Each and every one of us is disturbed with the different distresses that we've been hearing about from the very beginning of this Madhurya Kadambini Shravan festival. So please, this is a sharing opportunity. So we are humbly inviting everyone. Now is an opportunity for everyone in the room, for everyone on Facebook, for everyone on Zoom, to please participate in this activity. Our question and the question and answer will be answered next in our Gyan Shakshu program that is going to be going on. So all the questions that everyone have asked, please stay tuned. It is all going to be answered. So now is a period of sharing and sharing on how has envy harmed oneself and other devotees. How has envy harmed ourselves, me as an individual, and how has envy harmed other devotees? So the screen is now open for everybody. If you have your experiences to share, just raise your visual hand. We humbly beg you, just raise your visual hand wherever you are and share, because by sharing, like I said, you are able to uplift another person. We are able to, because you don't know, a little word, a little encouragement, a little experience that you've experienced and how you were able to rise above it can be very, 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 very uplifting to others. You see, one of the things we have as devotees is we don't like to talk about our problem. Why? Because we feel that when we speak about our problem, other people are going to judge us. We feel that when we talk about our issues, other people are going to put us in a certain mindset, and based on that certain mindset that they put us, they are going to try to look at us, or they are going to see, oh, maybe we're not so advanced. That is why we are passing through this problem. But no, so please, the screen is all yours for each and everybody. If you have your experiences to share, please raise up your visual hand and share with us how envy has harmed you and other devotees, and how envy, how you deal with your own envy. Please raise up your hand and share. Well, if everyone, in the meantime, well, I know that everyone is trying to think of, about what to say or how to say it. Here is my own experience in regards to envy. You see, being born in an African continent, I grew up in a situation whereby finance wasn't very, very there. So you see that even being born in a certain family where there's no financial stability, or where there's no, there isn't anything, it has a way of impacting your view of life. So being born in a family whereby there's no financial money, there is nothing. So when I see other students, or when I see other people that are having things that I'm not able to have, I become envious of them. Wow. When will I have this kind of thing that this person has had? When will I be able to be more successful like this person? When will I be able to, at least have a house, or buy this, buy that, like this person I was doing? And in my heart, I'm like, when can I do this? So it bites me, it eats me, it poisons my mind. But the only thing that was able to save me, and the only thing that was able to help me out of my envy, it's not that I'm fully advanced now that I don't have any envy, it's still there, but the only thing that is helping me is by constantly hearing what Srila Gurudev have said, and what he said to us so many years ago. And that is, if you are envious of a person, serve the person. When you serve the person, just by you serving the person, and in your heart, you pray, my dear Prabhu, I am very sorry. Sometimes you don't need to say it out to the person, because when you say it out to the person will feel somehow, oh, so you are envious about me. Oh. So Gurudev said we should serve the person, and by serving the person, we should pray, my dear Prabhu, I am sorry, I am envious of you, but I beg you, forgive me. It is due to my own preconditioning, and by doing this, it helps bring down that envious mentality. It has helped me a lot, especially when there's kirtan festivals, or when there's lectures, and where people are speaking so bigger than me, or there are people are singing more powerful than me. I'm like, ooh. And then when I take the characters and I play together with the person, or I assist the person in doing something, in just rendering a service to the person, and by rendering the service to the person, I pray in my heart and I say, Prabhu, I'm very sorry, but this is my precondition that I'm envious of you. Please forgive me. I don't intend to do it, but my mind is just like this. Please forgive me. The moment I say that, I find peace within myself. So this is my own experience. This is what I've experienced. This is how I have been able to overcome mine. So please do not be shy to express yourself. Do not be shy to raise your hand. So we're waiting for everyone. If you have any experience you would like to share. Yes, so we have Grace Gunachuda Mataji. Please, the screen is yours. please share your experience with us and how you were able to overcome it.
Hare Krishna, queridos devotos. Eu não sei se eu tenho que desativar o... Ah, tá bom.
Gunachida Mataji, you will have to go to the English channel so that you have to go to the English channel so that we can hear, you, the interpreters can be able to translate and, we can hear your experience.
Eu should
always in the channel.
Ah, entendi. Então, deu certo, será? O Prabhu falou que eu tinha que mudar de canal.
Please, everyone, just go to the English channel. Click on the English channel on the globe. Just click on the English channel so that as she's speaking, you'll be able to hear the live translation.
Eu posso falar e você traduz? Tá. Por favor, então, eu gostaria de oferecer minhas reverências a Srila Gurudeva, a todos os devotos, e agradecer pelo programa. E vou falar brevemente de uma experiência de inveja, assim, como eu superei ela também. A minha inveja, na verdade, veio na prática do serviço devocional, né? Eu acho que talvez essa não seja só uma experiência minha de querer ser muito querido por Srila Gurudeva e querer ser, tipo, o devoto mais querido de Gurudeva. Essa é uma experiência de inveja. E então eu vi Srila Gurudeva muito feliz com uma irmã espiritual e apreciando muito ela, né, diante de outros devotos. E internamente eu pensava que por que ele não me aprecia? Eu também faço bons serviços, na verdade, eu faço mais serviço que essa minha irmã, por que ele aprecia tanto ela e não me aprecia? E isso internamente foi muito difícil para mim. Depois eu comecei a refletir de que não, eu preciso, se eu quero ser querida para Gurudeva como ela, eu preciso ajudar ela no serviço que ela está fazendo, porque está sendo um serviço muito bom, ele está gostando, e se eu ajudar ela, então eu também vou ter essa apreciação, mesmo que indireta, né? Então eu tentei, nesse sentido, me aproximar dela e ajudar ela no serviço que ela estava fazendo, e esse sentimento foi sendo dissolvido aos poucos, assim, e eu pude apreciar o avanço dela nesse sentido. Então, eu gostaria de simplesmente compartilhar essa experiência que talvez alguém já tenha tido esse tipo de sentimento, e foi muito bom, depois que eu ajudei ela no serviço que ela estava fazendo, esse sentimento foi embora e eu fiquei feliz.
Thank you very, very much, Gunachida Mataji. Muito obrigado to you. You took a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to be able to say your heart and to be able to explain what you were feeling. Thank you. Yes, a lot of devotees have been in this situation. I myself, sometimes I am in this situation where I feel like, oh, Gurudev is liking this, Gurudev loves these people more than me, and Gurudev is giving more attention to these people more than me, and what do I do? And the only way I'm able to do that is by also paying obeisances unto the lotus feet of these God brothers and these God sisters, because by doing that, I am purifying myself, and by doing that, I find peace within myself. So thank you, Gunachida Mataji. May the Lord bless you, and may Srila Gurudev continue to empower you wherever you are. So now we're moving on to our next item of the day, which is we're moving on to the next item of the day, which we're going to because we have so many other activities. So thank you all very, very much for being present. Thank you for taking the courage to ask your questions. Thank you, Srila Gurudev, for everything you've said. Just like you said, that we should put light in the room of our consciousness, sometimes it is very, very difficult, because due to so many associations and so many things that we are putting our mind into, so many things we are trying to see, how to survive, how to maintain family, how to maintain sadhana, how to maintain Krishna consciousness, how to maintain ourselves in the society. So it's very difficult, but thank you because everything you've said is a reminder. This is actually what we are supposed to do. This is how we are supposed to live. So thank you very much, Srila Gurudev, and I pray that each and every one of us put a light. We should light the lamp, and we should light the light in the room of our consciousness. Thank you very, very much. And now, thank you very much on how each and every one of you have been able to share. Now I will be handing over the screen to my co-MC in the person of His Grace Jayananda Prabhu, my elder god brother. God bless you. Thank you very much, Jayananda Prabhu. And please, the screen is all yours now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Sukadev. Thank you very much. And Hare Krishna to all the devotees. Now I'm going to take the lead from now on, and I will keep your company till the end of the program. So before moving on, I seek the blessing of Srila Gurudev. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please shower a drop of your mercy on me so that I can fulfill this service to your satisfaction, Guru Maharaj. Okay, Hare Krishna, all the dear devotees. So now we are going to have a very powerful speaker in our midst. His Grace Ekavira Prabhu. He is a very powerful speaker. And Ekavira Prabhu, he is a disciple of Bhakti Tirtha Swami. In his early days, he assisted Srila Bhakti Tirtha Swami in establishing the international, the IFOS, the international sorry, I have to check the name first. He established Maharaj in establishing an institution for applied spiritual technology. And Maharaj, he is qualified in field which is like holistic health consultancy. He is a certified holistic health consultant. And at the same time, he is a trained hospice care giver. And he is a graduate from Karuna Care Education Program. And having all these qualifications, Maharaj Prabhuji assisted His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami in his final days when Maharaj was in his terminal stage of his disease. So from 2004 to 2005, he was the primary caregiver of Maharaj. And after that, from 2004, he was serving in the hospice care. He was serving devotees in hospice care. And actually, at present, he is pastoral counseling. And Prabhuji has also served in the position of GBC. He was a member in the GBC International Devotee Care Committee. And he, with his good wife, Raji Prajalila, they are member of the International Grihastha Vision Team. And with all these qualification and experience, they are also involved in offering a lot of workshops and seminars, whereby they are helping devotees in nurturing the Krishna consciousness relationships. And in the devotee care, Prabhuji is very, very fond of helping devotees and encouraging devotees in taking shelter of the holy name. And actually, he is also showing the example by taking shelter of the holy name. So now we are going to invite Prabhu Dhiruvata Prabhu to welcome Prabhuji by offering a Mahagarland. So the screen is yours. His Grace Dhiruvata Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All grace to Sri Guru and Gurunga, all grace to Srila Prabhupada. Please accept my garland. Mahagarland is from Sri Krishna Balaram. Right.
Okay, thank you, Babuji. So now we invite His Grace Ekavir Prabhu to address to the audience who are very eager to hear the transcendental message that he has for us. Ekavir Prabhu, now the screen is yours. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Jayananda Prabhu. We really appreciate, and was it Drita? Drita? Yes, Drita Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, and thank you for that Maha Garland and the introduction, Jayananda Prabhu. It's so special. I was wondering who you were actually introducing when you were speaking. But we're here today and we're really grateful to have your association. We also want to thank our most beloved, His Holiness Bhakti Dear Damodar Maharaj, who is a special person in our hearts, my wife Rajalila and I. And we draw inspiration from him, and we're encouraged by all of the service that he does to Guru and Gauranga and Srila Prabhupada's mission. So thank you all, and all the
Hare Krishna,
devotees.
Prabhu. We're happy to have you with us.
But you are the reason why I am here, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
So I would like to actually chant just for a few minutes. How much time do we have, Jayananda Prabhu? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Janana, you're muted. Cannot hear you.
Hare Krishna, Babuji.
Yes.
Yes, you have half an hour.
Half an hour. Oh, okay, all right. So if I could just chant for 5 minutes, that would be, if I could beg the mercy of the devotees to ask for the blessings of Guru and Garanga and Sri Nam Prabhu. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasa Bhakta Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasa Bhakta Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Shri Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Shri Gurudev, 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 Haribo, 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 Haribo. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Om Magadata Mirandasha Ganagana Shalakaya Shakshuram Malitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Om Vishnuvaraya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nivishesha Shunyavadi Vasita Vishita Nama Om Vishnuvaraya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Tirtha Swami Niti Namane Namaste Krishna Paraya Prabhupada Ashtatrane Shri Gaura Karan Shakti Bhakti Tirtha Namane Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Pacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Bol Jai Go Primanandi Hare Hare Bol. So again, we thank the devotees for allowing us to have your association today. And the topic we actually selected was the topic of doubts. And this falls under the section in Madhurya Kadambini, under the section of Shraddha, faith. And Srila Visvanatha Cakravarti Thakura, he expresses this Yuda, the kalpa or doubts, is under the section of the Bhajana Kriya. And there are two different parts of Bhajana Kriya. nistita, or steadiness in our devotional service, and then anishtita, or unsteadiness. And this falls under the category of the unsteadiness. And so doubts, of course, doubts, we tend to think of doubts as something that is just horrific, horrible. Doubts, doubts. Why do we have these doubts? And of course, in the Srimad Bhagavatam in Canto 3, text 26, no, chapter 26, text 30, it's explained that doubts are actually a sign of intelligence. It actually explains that doubts, misapprehension, apprehension, memory, sleep, as determined by the different functions, are said to be distinct characteristics of intelligence. And that's said specifically in the text. And so it's a sign of intelligence. When we have doubts, it's an indication that our intelligence is active. And so therefore, who has doubts? Have any of us had any doubts? I see we have, everyone is muted, but you can just raise your hand. Has any of you experienced doubts in your Krishna conscious unfoldment? One hand, whoa, this is just 2 hands, just 3 hands, 4 hands. Okay, I was about to say this, we're definitely in the group of Sudha Bhaktas. So I'm sure at any point in time, all of us have experienced doubts in our Krishna consciousness unfoldment. And what are some of the areas in which we can have these doubts? And the hands are still coming. What are some of the areas? Of course, we can have doubts, and this is a healthy doubt. We can have doubts in the material life and those things in the material arena. We can have those doubts. But we also can have doubts when we come to the association of devotees in the various aspects of devotional service. In the very beginning, we can have doubts in the scriptures. We can have doubts in devotees. We can have doubts in the spiritual master. We can have doubts even in Krishna. And ultimately, all of these different doubts are a symptom of a doubt that we have in the Supreme Lord. And this actually manifests or has a tendency to manifest in beginning stages of devotional service. However, it can continue throughout the various aspects of the stages of our Krishna conscious unfoldment, through the stages of sadhu sangha, of course, we talked about the doubts and different devotees, bhajana kriya. Are these particular pastimes, are they allegorical? Are they for real? Is this something that I can put my full faith in? Anartana vritti, of course, and doubts in everything other than me and mine and my own intelligence. Nishta, ruchi, all the way up to the level of prema. And in prema, of course, is explained that this is the stage in which all doubts are actually dissipated. One can even have doubts up to the area level of bhava, in which we may think that is prema actually possible? We can have that particular doubt in the various stages. And so, these doubts can come, and we can ask the question, how can these doubts actually be minimized or dissipated? How do we actually progress and decrease in these doubts? And so we can ask a question that, what is it that we are exposing ourselves to on a daily basis? What are those things that the associations that we have. How are we actually engaging in the process? We can actually even have, as we expressed in the beginning stages, a doubt in Krishna. And sometimes we find that we may ask devotees, do we have any doubts in Krishna? And the devotees say, no, we don't have doubts in Krishna. And Bhaktitirtha Swami, I just wanted to share something that he expressed in one of his particular books. It's meditation, it's Spiritual Warrior 2, Transforming Lust into Love. And he expresses that there are, as long as one is in the material world up into the stage of anartha nivritti, we will continue to have doubts. And sometimes doubts about God. If we had no doubts at all, we would not be in the material world. We would no longer be human, and we would not be required to have a material body with material consciousness. We would already be residing in the spiritual kingdom. We should not be concerned about our doubts. That's an interesting point that he's actually making here. We should not be concerned about our doubts. As is said in chapter 3 and 4, the mind and senses are in charge, are trying to be in charge. When the mind and senses discover that we are tuning into transcendental energies, the mind, under the control of the symptoms of the senses, throws tantrums to draw our attention away from higher realms of experience. Eventually, though, we realize that the mind plays these doubt games in order to avoid being controlled or ignored. When we understand this, we will not take the mind's tricks so seriously. And so he's expressing that doubts are there, and they're actually signs to give us an indication of our current level of Krishna conscious unfoldment. And so we can actually kind of meditate on these particular doubts, and that becomes our main focus. At the same time, we don't want to avoid the fact that these particular doubts are manifesting. We want to understand that they are there for a reason, and they're there ultimately to actually help us in our Krishna consciousness unfoldment. If we use our intelligence and our mind to speak of experiences that actually belong in the soul's domain, we can become confused and distort the truth, just as words cannot describe colors to a blind person. They cannot fully give us an understanding of the esoteric realm. That can only come from direct experience. In order to gain such understanding, we must work on our character, dissolve our impurities, and increase our devotion so that eventually we become worthy of transcendental knowledge and bliss. And so that's another important point. Sometimes we may hear that, well, all that's necessary is to chant Hare Krishna. And personally, there's one thing that we learned from Srila Prabhupada, and we learned from His Holiness Bhaktitirtha Maharaj, to take deep shelter of the holy name, and the holy name is everything. Holy name can purify us of these particular aspects. However, it's important to develop a fertile ground for devotional service to actually fructify, the bhakti lata beads to actually fructify. And one of those areas in which we can actually develop the fertile ground is developing our own personal character, in which he's expressing here. And this is something that is extremely important, because just as we have doubts, those persons that we come in contact with, they also have doubts. They may even have more doubts than we have. And so it's very important to actually develop these positive characteristics, especially character development. And so that we don't increase the doubts in others that we come in contact with. There's a saying by, I guess it's Saint Augustine, not Augustine, Saint Francis of Assisi. Preach the gospel at all times, and if necessary, use words. And so I reflect on this particular statement, because everything that is positive or can be used in devotional service and reinforce our affection for the Vaishnava and our affection for the scriptures and our affection for the devotional process can be helpful in our Krishna conscious unfoldment. And so by acting in a positive manner, by applying the scriptures, then we can also assist others in decreasing their doubts. And then therefore, by acting in this particular way, it also decreases our own doubts. So in the scriptures, we have different cases in which devotees actually display different levels of doubts. Of course, we have the most prominent case in the Bhagavad Gita, and that's Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna displaying doubts. And of course, we have in the Ramayana, Sita Devi and Lakshman. Sita Devi had that doubt that Lakshman was looking out for her best interest when she heard what seemed to be the screaming of Lord Ramachandra. And then we have, well, there's one particular pastime, and we go into that a little later. That's Mahaprabhu and Govinda Ghosh. And then Maitreya Rishi and Vidura approaching Maitreya, expressing that he has certain doubts. And of course, Vidura is pure devotee. Of course, Vidura expresses, "Oh, powerful sage, my lord, all my doubts are dissipated." After asking these questions, and Maitreya expressed, answered his question. He expressed that all of my doubts have been dissipated by your words. Now I'm convinced. My mind is now perfectly entered into these words. And so these are different areas of the scriptures in which we see the devotees displaying some aspects of doubt. So we can see doubts as like our current location on a navigational system. As we see as we drive in the vehicles. Of course, persons in some parts of the world might not have so much experience with this, but in the areas of the West where we drive, and there's the navigation system, and it gives us our current location. And so the type of doubts that we actually have gives us an indication of where we are on our process of Krishna conscious unfoldment. So what are the evidences of doubt? Well, in the Nectar of Instruction, Srila Rupa Goswami expresses 6 favorable principles and 6 unfavorable principles. And so the unfavorable principles that are there, if we look at each one of them, and if we find that there are certain aspects of our life in which we are still engaging in those particular aspects, that is the indication that we have some level of doubt. Primarily, we talked about, the pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Govinda Ghosh, overeating and over collecting. Of course, in that particular pastime with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Govinda Ghosh was serving Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he presented, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted haritaki for breakfast. And Govinda Ghosh, he didn't have it. And so he had to go search through the marketplace to actually find this for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he found it eventually and came back. And it took some time. And then he presented to his Lord, our Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Lord Chaitanya was very pleased and he took it. And then during the lunchtime, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu honored. And then after he honored, he asked for the Haritaki. And at that moment, Govinda Ghosh presented the Haritaki to him. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, how did you, this morning, it took you so long to actually get this. And now, you know, you have it immediately. How did you actually have this immediately? And he said, well, Govinda Ghosh expressed, I actually bought extra for your lunch. And so you would have it. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately expressed, you're collecting. Said one must, especially in the renounced order, have full faith upon the Lord, that he will provide. So that you show signs of collecting, then you should become a householder, a grihasta. And that's one of the particular indications of our particular doubt in the Lord, that the Lord would not provide for each and every one of us. But it's expressed that the Lord provides for each and all living entities. So why not, why won't he provide for the devotees? And so all of the other 6 unfavorable aspects of devotional service are there also. Over endeavoring for mundane things, talking unnecessarily or mundane subject matters. Yesterday, we heard His Holiness Bhakti Dhir Damodar Maharaj expressing about the quality of our association and those devotees. When we hear what they talk about, gives you an indication of the quality of the devotee, the quality of the consciousness at that point in time in their unfoldment of Krishna consciousness. And so what to speak of those persons who are non-devotees, and that's another thing, associating with worldly minded people and greedy for mundane achievements. I remember one time when I first came to Krishna consciousness and hearing His Grace Rabindra Sarup Prabhu when he was speaking about mundane achievements. And I remember it was like just a shock to my my consciousness, my mind, when he expressed that, you know, the Nobel Peace Prize, winning the Nobel Peace Prize, is similar to winning the bowling trophy in your local, bowling institution. I said, how in the world is this Nobel Peace Prize? How can you compare it to? And he went on to elaborate, expressing that each of these are relative to the mundane world. And, you know, just as we forget those persons who actually won the bowling trophy last year, we forget, you know, who won the Nobel Peace Prize just in that same amount of time. It's something that is relevant to the relative world. It's not lasting. So those are evidence of doubt. Now, how can we actually decrease our doubt? Well, Srila Rupa Goswami actually expresses that by engages in the 6 favorable principles: enthusiasm, endeavoring with confidence, patience, acting according to regulative principles, abandoning the association of non-devotees, and following in the footsteps of the acharyas. So, how do we get rid of these doubts? By the 6 favorable principles. And primarily, as Srila Visvanatha Cakravarti Thakura gives us indication that the next stage of our devotional service, and that's sadhu sangha. Now, how important is sadhu sangha? Sadhu sangha is not important, it's actually essential. It's actually essential in not just our beginning stages of Krishna conscious unfoldment, but it's essential in all stages of Krishna consciousness unfoldment. And we see that in the case of even those devotees who have gone beyond the stages of anartha nivritti and nishta, many different levels. And we find that then there may be some challenge in the devotional life and have what is considered to be a fall down. And if you look at the actual interaction, we find that there is some lacking in the sadhu sangha, and primarily the peer association of the devotees. The association of one who is more advanced than us, we're serving, and then we may even have this experience if we're take honest introspection. When we are in the association of those devotees who we are serving, and they're more advanced than us, we're on our best behavior. Our best side actually is apparent. And then, of course, those devotees who are actually less fortunate than us, then, we, of course, there's some tendency to not appreciate those personalities when they come into our service association. And when we associate with those like-minded individuals, our peers, then they can honestly give us some feedback. And that's one aspect in which helps us to alleviate some of these doubts and applying that which we actually learn in our Krishna conscious process. And that's to get feedback from those devotees in our association. One particular tool that His Holiness Bhaktitirtha Maharaj used to use in assisting us in our Krishna consciousness development was to get this feedback, to always carry a little notebook and ask the devotees in our association areas in which are our blind spots, those areas in which our particular doubts manifest by our actions, by our activities, by our lacking in character, so to speak, by areas in which we can grow in that aspect of our lives. And so that's something that can assist us. So again, how important is this sadhu sangha? And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expressed it. Sadhu sangha, sarva shastra koi, lava matta sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy. And so by the association of these particular sadhus, we can actually grow in our Krishna consciousness. We can actually be relieved of this particular doubt, just as Arjuna approached Krishna, hearing the words of Krishna, and was relieved of the particular doubts that he had. Just as we talked about Vidura and Maitreya Rishi, and Maitreya Rishi having some doubt that he expressed, and being cleared by the words of Maitreya Rishi. So it's absolutely essential. However, when we hear from the sadhu, and that's what sadhu sangha actually really means, by actually associating with those pure-hearted devotees and actually seeking their and blessings by their instructions. And then, of course, when we receive those instructions, by applying that within our lives. And so Srila Visvanatha Cakravarti Thakura expresses in the Madhurya Kadambini, sincerely following the spiritual master's instructions, and there are many different spiritual masters, not just our diksha, our shiksha, and the devotees who bring us to Krishna consciousness. By sincerely following the spiritual master's instructions, bestows upon the disciple good fortune of wanting to associate with an elevated saint, experience and absorbed in the same devotional mood as the disciple himself aspires for. In other words, a like-minded saintly instructor. And so that's another thing that's extremely important in this unfoldment and removal of the doubts that we have, the association of like-minded and saintly personalities. And like-minded being those personalities in which give inspiration to us, that assist us through that particular, that inspiration. And yes, assist us in that particular inspiration. It's extremely important in our association. And just as in the previous exercise, where we were speaking about Sukadev Goswami was asking the question about envy. Have you experienced envy? Some persons may find it very uncomfortable to share these things in the, association of the devotees. And that's unfortunate because, it helps us to grow by sharing in the association of devotees. And Srila Visvanatha Cakravarti expresses that just by sharing in the association of devotees, part of the actual anartha that we have is actually dissipated just by sharing that particular association. And so it's important to develop a loving, non-judgmental mood when associating with each other. So it actually encourages each and every devotee to actually be able to open up and take shelter. That's that particular point of, actually revealing your mind in confidence, one of the 6 loving exchanges. Well, it's revealing your mind in confidence. It's important to maintain the confidentiality among the devotees so that devotees will feel comfortable in opening up to another devotee. And so by this sadhu sangha, we can get the physical association. We also can get the association of these great souls through their actual writings, the teachings. And we talked about the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and the many different writings. I remember again with His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj when we were serving him in Hawaii, and he was going through the cancer treatment, and it was a very difficult time at that point. And we were reading from a book, Naparye Hum by Shivaram, His Holiness Shivaram Swami, and we were reading to him every day. And after we finished reading the book, His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, he was very grave. And he said, "This book is absolutely wonderful. I haven't had much association with His Holiness Shivaram Swami. However, through you reading this to me, I'm gaining his association, and I'm appreciating it very much." And this transcendental process it's to say it's deep is an understatement. Soon after he expressed this particular point, the next day we called, and I mean, he hadn't called, I don't remember him calling, but that next day Shivaram Maharaj called Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. And, they got on the phone, they said, "We just finished your book, and it was absolutely wonderful." And they exchanged, they talked for about an hour and a half. It was so wonderful. Another particular pastime with Jamuna Devi, and she was cooking for Srila Prabhupada, and he was rocking on the veranda, and he was just singing Hari Hari Bifale. And he was just singing one line over and over and over again, rocking back and forth. He started singing the bhajan, that one line, at the beginning when Mother Yamuna was actually cooking, when she first started. And when she finished, he was still singing that same line. And she came out on the porch and started sitting with him and singing along with him. And as he was singing, he stopped at a certain point and he said, "No one writes prayers like Narottam Das Thakur and Bhaktivinoda Thakur." And encourage I encourage you and encourage devotees to study the prayers of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Narottam Das Thakur. And so by reading and hearing and chanting the prayers of these great souls, we gain their association. And Srila Prabhupada depicted that. So these doubts can be dissipated by this sadhu sangha, continuous sadhu sangha, the quality sadhu sangha. And so, again, we talked about this doubts being the location in our navigational system. And so, as we also mentioned early on, is seen as some negative aspect of our life, and it actually can be. However, we can actually utilize this doubt that may arise within our mind to act as an impetus to engage in the process of devotional service, mainly sadhu, sangha, and chanting the holy names. And so by doing these two things, primarily, these doubts can gradually be dissipated. And as Krishna expresses in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, now hear this, by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. And what is the easiest way to attach our consciousness to Krishna is by associating with Krishna as in the form of Sri Nam Prabhu. It's the easiest way. And so he's so kind and so merciful to avail himself in all conditions of life. There's no particular condition in which he doesn't make himself available in his most merciful form of Sri Chaitanya, Sri Nam Prabhu. And so we can actually do that. And of course, through the words of Krishna, he expresses and he encourages Arjuna to not just forget about your intelligence. Yes, your intelligence is there and it's active. He expressed that I've explained everything. He spoke the whole Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. I've explained it. And now you deliberate on this and do as you like. Do as you desire. And of course, then Arjuna gives us the example of how we actually can alleviate the doubt by actually hearing and then applying that which we heard. And he expresses that I've heard this with an attentive mind. And of course, Krishna asked him, you've heard with attentive mind, are your doubts dispelled? And Arjuna, of course, he responds, yes. My doubts are infallible, Krishna. My illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory of, by your grace of mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and am preparing to act according to your instructions, applying that which we have heard. So I think I've gone over a little bit of time, but I really appreciate coming in your association today. Thank you so much. At some point, we would love to come to Mauritius. We had been longing to come to Mauritius and associate with the devotees there. And through the grace, through the great fortune of Zoom, we're in Mauritius now and having your association. So the technology is giving us some boon today. Srila Prabhupada, ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for giving us a wonderful presentation of doubt. So before going to devotees for that question, I would like to remind devotees that if they have any query, they can raise their virtual hand, or if they on YouTube channel, they can, or Facebook, they can send their comment in the comment box. So before going to other devotees, I have one question for you, Prabhuji. In Bhagavad Gita, we refer doubt as demon demon of doubts. And the demon which is being referred here is Madhu. So Prabhupada says that Madhusudan means that the demon of doubts. So I wanted to know what is a correlation between Madhu and the doubts, how they are related.
Yes, thank you for your question, Prabhuji. These particular doubts are manifestations coming from the mind. It's a sign of intelligence, but they actually stem, the actual seed stems from the mind. And so, of course, Krishna is referred to Madhu, the slayer of the demon of the mind, Madhusana. And so that is the correlation there. He's referred to as Madhu because he is the slayer of these particular doubts. And also in that particular pastime, which we expressed about Vidura and Maitreya, when Vidura was approaching Maitreya, he also referred to the Supreme Lord as Madhusudan at that point in time, because he is the slayer of this particular doubts, this doubt. And of course, the sadhu was used as the instrument to actually slay this particular demon of doubt that stems from the mind. But thank you, Jayananda Prabhu, for your question to elaborate.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Now we have Prabhu Sukadev. He has raised his virtual hand, so I invite him to unmute himself and ask his question.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes,
Thank you very much for the deep, enlightening explanation in regards to doubt. Now, in this, we've heard that doubt, when one has doubt, is a symptom of intelligence. Now, but also when one becomes too doubtful, is a symptom of ignorance. Now, how do we bridge this over doubtfulness and doubt in the form in intelligence? Because if we hear something and we don't, we just trust in everything we hear, we just believe and accept everything we hear, just like that, it is considered as not so intelligent. But now when we hear something and we doubt, because by doubting it, it helps us to scrutinize and explore the subject matter more deeper. Now, how do we bridge it without not being too over, not going beyond and just being in the middle where we are balanced in our doubt? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes, it's as Visvanatha Cakravarti Thakura expresses in the Madhurya Kadambini, that when doubts arise, that one of the challenges that keeps us unsteady in devotional service is vacillating back and forth. And so therefore, that's the reason why it's so essential for us to take shelter of sadhu, to actually assist us in eradicating this particular doubt. And it's extremely important when we actually hear the instruction from sadhu, and the instruction comes from the spiritual master, but also comes from our peers. And if we're really sincere, we can actually learn from any given situation. At the same time, we apply things based upon Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. And we apply these things in the mood of being spiritual scientists. If we have a particular doubt, if we aren't willing to actually apply the actual remedy, then we can't alleviate the doubt. And so this is how we actually can balance, the doubt by applying, being in the mood of a spiritual scientist, applying that based upon Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. So thank you for your questions. Is that okay, Sukadev Goswami Prabhu? Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. So, dear viewers, since we are running out of time, so we cannot take more questions now. So we are stopping here. And we would like to thank Prabhuji again. And especially I would like to remind devotees that at present it is japa time in USA. But still Prabhuji, though he's a great lover of the holy name, he has sacrificed himself so that he can serve the audience that who are following in this channel of Sadhu and Guru. So we thank Prabhuji again and again, and we are very grateful to him that he has spared his precious japa time to help devotees throughout the world to have his association. Thank you again, Prabhuji. See you next time. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much again, all of the devotees who are present. And I want to express again my appreciation for His Holiness Bhakti Dear Damodar Maharaj, and to share with everyone. We are all so fortunate to have his association. So we all must take advantage of this opportunity that Krishna has allowed us to have. So thank you again, and Nitai Gaura. Ananta Vaishnava.
Jai. So we thank him and all the devotees from Nigeria for presenting this nice dance for the pleasure of all the devotees. So now we are reaching to the most awaited program. It is like we have been following the program since the beginning. So you ought to have a break. But in spiritual life, we don't have break, we have spiritual break. So we are going to have a spiritual break in the form of a drama. And this drama is being presented by devotees from India. So we invite you to now dive in this ocean of bliss by watching this drama presented by devotees from India. Hare Krishna.
In the province of Surasena, there was a king named Chitraketu, who ruled the entire earth. During his reign, the earth produced all the necessities for life. This Chitraketu had 10 million wives. But although he was capable of producing children, he did not receive a single child from any of them. By chance, all the wives were barren. Once upon a time, when the powerful sage named Angira was traveling all over the universe without engagement, by his sweet will, he came to the palace of King Chitraketu.
Oh, great sage, welcome, welcome. I'm so fortunate. I'm so fortunate.
My dear king, I hope your body and mind, your ministers, your kingdom and treasury are doing well.
Yes, O great sage. By the mercy of great sages like you, my kingdom and everything is flourishing. The treasuries are overflowing simply by your mercy.
Are your wives, your citizens, your dependent and merchant who sell oil and spices are under your control? Are you also in full control of your dependent, your governor, your ministers?
Yes, O great sage. By the mercy of my ancestors, everything is well in my kingdom and everything is sufficiently under control.
O King Chitraketu, I can observe that your face has turned pale due to some deep anxiety. It seems that you have not achieved the desired goal. Is this anxiety caused by your own self, or there is someone who is causing this anxiety for you?
Oh great Muni, there is nothing in this world that you don't know. Because of your austerities and knowledge, You know what is happening and you are aware of what is within the heart of us conditioned souls. Still, because you have ordered me, you are asking me, I will tell you what is bothering me, what is the cause of my anxiety. Oh great sage, just like a person who is afflicted with hunger and thirst does not care for sandalwood pulp, decorations, jewelries on his body. Similarly, a person like me does not desire this whole opulence, this material opulence which is desired by even the demigods. Because I have no son, I have no progeny to take ahead my kingdom, to take ahead this lineage. Oh Angira Muni, I pray to you, please save my forefathers from this darkest region of hell, because they don't have a progeny, they don't have anybody to deliver them. Please, oh great Muni, please deliver us from this hell. Please give us a son.
I came here to give self-realization, but the king is too attached.
Okay, please arrange for a yagya.
In response to the request of Maharaj Chitraketu, Angira Rishi became very merciful towards him and performed a sacrifice by offering oblations of sweet rice to demigod Twatsa. The remnants of the food offered in the yajna were given by the great sage Angira to the first and most perfect among Chitraketu's millions of queens, whose name was Kritadyuti.
O great king, now you will have a son which will be the cause of both jubilation and lamentation.
Very soon, Kritadyuti became pregnant after eating remnants of food from the yajna performed by Angira Muni, and in due course of time, a son was born to the queen named Harshashoka.
Maharaj, it's a son.
What did you say?
It's a son.
Son. Take this. Oh, it's a son.
Hearing this news, all the inhabitants of Chitraketu's kingdom were extremely pleased. King gave charity of gold, silver, garments, ornaments, villages, horses and elephants, as well as 60 crores of cows. When a poor man gets some money after great difficulty, his affection for the money increases daily. Similarly, when King Chitraketu, after great difficulty, received a son, his affection for the son and Kritadyuti increased day by day. But gradually, he lost affection for other wives who had no sons. Seeing Kritadyuti's son, the other wives of the king were very much agitated. They were extremely unhappy due to being sonless. Because of the king's negligence towards them, they condemned themselves in envy and lamented.
A wife who has no son is neglected by her husband and disrespected by her co-wife, just like a maidservant. Certainly, such a woman is condemned.
This is all because of Kritadyuti and her son. Since the time he is born, king is neglecting us.
Absolutely. Let us uproot the root cause of all this anxiety and distress. I have a plan. Let's follow that plan.
As per the plan conspired by the co-wives of Queen Kritadyuti, they administered the poison within the child through the food served to him. Unaware of the poison administered by her co-wives, Queen Kritadyuti walked within the house, thinking that her son was sleeping deeply.
Oh Dasi, it's morning and my dear son is still sleeping. Please go and wake him up.
The maidservant approached the child, who was lying down. She saw his eyes were turned upwards.
Oh my God!
There were no sign of life, and all his senses have stopped. And she could understand that the child was dead.
My dear son, please wake up. Wake up. See your playmates are calling you. Get up, you must be hungry. Have some milk. Son, get up. Get up.
Since the other envious queens planned and killed Harshashoka, all the citizens of the kingdom were almost unconscious.
Oh, my dear child, what has happened to you? I can no longer hear your pleasing voice. Please wake up. Talk to me. Talk to me.
Oh God, what has happened to my son? Why have you done this to me? Why?
When the great sage Angira understood that the king was almost dead in an ocean of lamentation, he went there with Narada Rishi. Thus, enlightened by the instructions of Brahmana, Angira and Narada, King Chitraketu became fully aware of spiritual knowledge. As an elephant becomes free from muddy reservoir of water, King Chitraketu came out of the dark well of family life. Queen Krutaduti's co-wives, who had poisoned the child, were very much ashamed, and they lost all their bodily luster. While lamenting, "O king," they remembered the instructions of Angira and gave up their ambition to bear children. Following the directions of the Brahmana, they went to the bank of Yamuna, where they bathed and atoned for their sinful activities. This shows how dangerous it is to be around envious association. At the same time, we should check our envy by engaging in devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. It was a very mind-blowing performance by devotees from India. They have really rocked the session today, and we are extremely grateful to the participants. And I'm sure you also have enjoyed this masterpiece by the devotees from India. So now we are coming to the end of today's session. So we would like to thank His Holiness Bhakti Damodar Maharaj, our guest speaker, Eka Veera Prabhu, and all the participants who have participated in today's program. We thank everyone. And we also thank all the devotees who have followed us in this channel of Guru and Sadhu. So we invite you again to follow us on the same channel in 3 to 4 hours time. We have our last session. And just to remind you about our last session, I'll just give you a glimpse of our schedule for session number 5. So We are starting at 18:30 Mauritian time, where His Holiness Bhakti Damodar Maharaj will be talking on mundane engagement, and it is followed by an activity at around 19:15. Then we'll have another guest speaker, His Grace Bhuta Bhavana Das. He will be speaking on devotee care, devotees or spiritual warriors. And we'll close our program again with a spiritual retreat. That is another drama in our program. So we thank everyone for being attentive and following us. We thank you again, and we look forward to see you again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank all the devotees and everyone for the wonderful presentation. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada bless all of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Srila Bhakti Damodar Maharaj ki.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
All right, see you later.